But if he can pull this off, we're looking at a new world order.
Yeah, I mean, another conspiracy theory that has started coming true. I mean, we saw this announcement in September. It took everybody by surprise. The World Economic Forum had been pushing digital IDs, the United Nations, the European Union, Britain. Of course, the really terrifying example is China, which uses digital IDs and a social credit score to control speech and to control what people think and say online.
I wish to thank the sponsors for inviting me. I don't often get invited. This was an important debate. I had planned another closing message, but I feel compelled to say what I'm about to say. Now, I risk sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but it's no longer a theory. What I'm about to say is fact. The secret organizations of the world power elite are no longer secret. They have planned and are now leading us into a one-world communist government. The combining of national governments started with the European Union. That union started with trade agreements, then a common currency, the euro, and now a European Parliament that is feverishly passing laws that override the laws of the member nations. A constitution was drafted but rejected by a few of those nations, but never mind. They implemented it anyway. Now it's North America's turn. Building on the North American Free Trade Agreement, the NAFTA section of the Commerce Department is busy drafting laws and regulations for a North American Union, a union of Canada, America, and Mexico. The President has attended secret meetings and signed at least 2 agreements under the Security and Prosperity Partnership Program. Information leaked out about the meetings, and now it is all in the open. No treaty has been signed, so Congress has not become involved. However, money from our Treasury is now being spent for this effort. We will have a new currency, the Amero, and a new constitution, modeled on the Soviet Union's constitution. Our rights will not be inalienable, but they will be granted by government, who can also take them away. One sign that this is our future is the plans for the superhighways from southern Mexico through America and into Canada. These plans are not secret any longer. Huge amounts of property will be taken in the name of free trade, peace, and security. You will have a national ID card with a radio frequency chip in it. That's already law in America and will be implemented by May 2000. This man voted for it. You will not be able to move about freely. This is terrorism of the most worst kind, brought on you by our own government. The strongest, freest nation in the history of mankind will be averaged into world communism. Is that what you want? Are we the people still in control of this nation? We must begin to act like we are.
Stan Jones. On that, Conrad Burns, 3 minutes.
Sure glad you got such a rosy outlook on our future for our kids.
Do you see any of the little alerts about the new iPhone update? Guess what? It's going to let you add your passport to your Apple Wallet. It creates something called a digital ID that you can use whenever you need to show ID, including at the airport, to get on domestic flights, for a lot of things. And it sounds super nifty and so convenient. Everything in one place. Well, if you think that, you must have more trust in big tech safeguarding your privacy than I do. But at least here in the United States, this idea of a digital ID is optional, at least for now. But in the UK, it looks like the digital ID will soon be mandatory, at least if you want to work.
This government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
Well, it's not simple. And you notice it's at the Global Progress meeting. Well, it's not simple, and it's being pushed by people in high places and with big tech connections, like former PM Tony Blair.
I'm going to pause for a moment, guys, if that's all right, because we've got some other breaking news tonight, and this is from Westminster involving the UK government and their plans for digital ID cards. John Craig, our chief political correspondent, is with us. John, I remember not that long ago, sat on this very chair announcing that the government are going to bring in digital ID cards, mandatory for all workers. Has this now been ditched?
Looks like it. It was September. The Prime Minister made a big speech at a conference of progressives, and where he talked tough in that speech. There, he said that you will not be able to work in the UK if you don't have a digital ID. It's as simple as that. The scheme would make it tougher to work illegally in this country, making our borders more secure. We've always been clear. Details on the digital ID scheme will be set out following a full public consultation, which will be launched shortly. Well, not sure the Prime Minister was talking about that last September. And then the government still says digital ID will make everyday lives easier for people, ensuring public services are more personal.
The NHS in the UK has an incredible amount of population data, but it's fragmented. It's not easily accessible by these AI models. We have to take all of this data we have in our country and move it into a single, if you will, unified data platform.
A unified data platform. Well, what could possibly go wrong with that?
It's quite terrifying, and when you just listen to what the advocates for digital IDs say, it's terrifying. And, you know, Laura, one thing I learned from this last round of investigations is that this is a huge cybersecurity threat. The idea that, I mean, imagine if you get hacked in one of the many websites that you log into. Imagine everything suddenly being hacked because it's all centralized in a single place. That cybersecurity threat alone ought to be enough to kill the digital ID. But again, this is potentially digital totalitarianism.
Well, remember China hacked into, I think it was Office of Personnel Management, and got, untold numbers of government workers' records, their home addresses, phone numbers, Social Security. I mean, that's the U.S. government. Like, we're supposed to be the most secure system around. So that's an issue. But, the argument also... Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was going to say hacks happen all the time. I mean, there's huge hacks. Governments get hacked.
At the World Economic Forum back in January, push for this. I think we have the soundbite.
I propose putting an end to anonymity on social media. Citizens have the right to privacy, not to anonymity or impunity. We must push forward the principle of pseudonymity as the functioning element of social media, and force all these platforms to link every user account to an European digital identity wallet.